Hello everyone, I am Mary, my friend Doudou. Two health reasons I have to rest for a while. I will bring you wonderful content in the future. If there are any shortcomings, please give me more suggestions. I will try to correct them. Okay, let's move on to our topic today. During sex, is it better to open your eyes or close your eyes? An unwarranted survey when you are having sex. Do you like your eyes? Multiple questions. 1. Look at 2. Open your eyes dimly, looking at the other person's body or other places. 3. Closed. 4. Didn't notice or not necessarily, depending on the person, state, etc. 5. No such experience. Next question. I found a very interesting phenomenon. That is, some people like to look at each other during sex in the light coming through the street lamps to see the brilliance in each other's eyes. Some people like some gentle lights to see the hazy outlines of each other and the ambiguous shadows cast under the bed. Some people like to turn off the lights, close their eyes, or even put on a blindfold to explore completely immersed in the darkness. I love to study these. What's so good about this? Topics about sex. So today I'm going to study to open your eyes or close your eyes. Why do some people like to open their eyes and some people like to close their eyes? Under normal circumstances, opening and closing your eyes is a natural state of transition. The most widely proven and most understandable thing is that eye contact during sex can greatly improve sexual satisfaction. Eye contact during sex is almost a privilege for primates. Although hearing or smell is also important, our beautiful forward-looking eyes can give us a more three-dimensional vision which will give primates more experience in their new life. A large number of experiments and studies have shown that in humans and other primates, eye contact may be a means to promote attention and emotional participation. Therefore, during sex, people look at each other affectionately, indicating that the two are currently very emotionally engaged. However, this does not mean that sex without eye contact is bad. Because eye contact during sex brings about extremely strong and surging emotions, some people will feel shy when they are in such a highly aroused state, which is a kind of timidity when the emotions are strong. One is that if we are in a culture with a double standard of gender, sex is a male-dominated topic, and women are more likely to be shy when engaging in sexual behavior. Another is social anxiety, which is also a possible reason for avoiding eye contact during sex. Another possibility is that this person may have some avoidant attachment tendencies. People with avoidant attachment find it difficult to face their own and others' sincere and strong emotions, and avoiding eye contact is a manifestation of avoidance. However, there is no evidence to prove that not looking at each other will not be a good experience for two people. It is like looking at each other is the cherry on the top of a cake. Without this cherry, you can't say that the cake is not delicious. There is also kind of open eyes without looking at each other during sex. That is, we will look at something instead of the other person's face or eyes. This state may be unconscious. That is, we are enjoying sex and our eyes are not looking at anything, which is no different from ordinary closed eyes. The other is really looking. This kind of looking is a kind of confirmation, an additional and exciting visual stimulation. For example, we look at each other's shadows hugging each other to confirm that we are in spiritual and physical unity at this moment. For another example, we look at each other's bodies and see that each other is working hard for each other's happiness, which gives us a sense of satisfaction, can further stimulate our sexual desire. Closing your eyes may have more meanings. First of all, the study found that if we imagine our brain as a machine with many modules operating, including visual networks, auditory networks, motor networks, etc., the integrated function of this machine is higher when we close our eyes. Although the study was conducted in a resting state, we can reasonably speculate that when we enjoy sex with our eyes closed, many sensory organs in our brain will be linked. We can hear the other person's breathing more clearly, the other person's touch makes us more sensitive, and the impression left by the other person in our eyes is more sexy, and we can receive this series of confidences at the same time. In addition, a study in Nature also proved that closing your eyes in a dark environment can increase the ability of other senses. The researchers asked the subjects to close their eyes, and their fingers became more sensitive. In a completely dark environment, Closing their eyes significantly enhances the body senses. Opening eyes will make a certain module more powerful, and some other studies have also confirmed this conclusion. In other our eyes to pay attention to the picture in front of us, or we can pay attention to the sound we hear. When we open our eyes, this single function performs better. I believe that everyone can also conclude from daily experience that closing eyes and making loud sounds that are not presentable is a state of extreme immersion in physical stimulation. This is why some people especially like to grope in the dark for sex, and even wear blindfolds for this purpose, and they pursue the ultimate sensory experience. These eyes open, eyes closed, and eyes to each other often switch unconsciously in our sex life, and many times they are not under our control. Of course, there is another situation with eyes closed. I don't want to face it. I'm pretending to be dead. Whatever you want, just do it. This kind of sex life is more or less too boring, so we won't discuss it. But why sometimes you don't like each other to keep their eyes open? But there is a special situation. That is, some people don't like to keep their eyes open during sex. This is not like the avoidant attachment we mentioned earlier, which is avoiding gazes, nor is it the habit of closing eyes to enjoy sensory stimulation or pretending to sleep, but choosing not to open eyes. They simply feel safer with their eyes closed. Studies have found that women who objectify themselves have worse sexual experiences and may even have sexual dysfunction. Women who objectify themselves will harshly believe that their bodies do not meet aesthetic standards, and thus believe that they are not sexually valuable and attractive enough. Therefore, they will not want to see their bodies, nor will they want to see the disappointed eyes of their partners that they think they will see. With the change of aesthetics, some men have also fallen into the misunderstanding of self-objectification and have encountered the same situation. Not only that, they will also be very disgusted with their partners looking at their bodies, especially when their partners often complain about their poor figures. In addition, for some people, the eyes of others always carry the meaning of scrutiny, and when they are stared at by others, they will feel a strong sense of being hunted. When one of the sexual partners is more dominant in daily life and personality, and the other often feels oppressed by the other's sense of power, he will also feel uncomfortable with the other's gaze during sex. Unless you have this kind of power play fetish, whether you have a dominant personality also has some influence here. Research has found that people with high dominance tend to move closer to someone when they are stared at, while people with low dominance do not. Therefore, some people may feel scrutinized during sex because of their partner's gaze, which reduces their sexual satisfaction.